Welcome back to Where Are All My Friends? This is such a cool one for me. This week is with Taji Ameen, who is the host of Vice's one-star reviews, amongst a bunch of other things. But that show on Vice is one of my favorite things ever. A mutual friend of mine, Daniel, showed it to me, and I love it. So I hit up Taji. He was down to do the podcast. Outside of one-star reviews, he just has a really cool story. He's a photographer, a videographer. He grew up in New York City skateboarding, and he just has a really cool story where he got really, really good at what he does, which is everything that I like to talk about in this show. So I hope you like it as much as I did. If you do, it would be a massive help just liking the video, sharing it with a friend, and subscribing to the channel. I really am working on growing this a lot more right now, so that helps a lot. With that said, enjoy the podcast. Where are all my friends? We are talking to Taji Ameen, and I am really, really hype on this one. You are outside of music for the most part, unless there's part of your career that I don't know, but I really respect everything you've done. I believe, just from the little bits that I do know, you came from a world of skating and then ended up working with Vice and doing a lot of cool stuff with them. And really, this podcast is all about just like people's come up stories that have done something cool outside of just the normal. And it feels like you've had a really cool path of kind of finding that lane and also carving it out for yourself. Like, to my understanding, a lot of what you've created at Vice was just you making it happen.
Thank you. I appreciate that introduction. That's very
Yeah.
kind of you to say that, you've come across me and, find it out of the ordinary and I guess even extraordinary, according to
I would
you.
say extraordinary.
Thank you very much. I
I would
appreciate
go that
that.
far. Yeah.
Wow.
I like to take it back to somewhere around your early days. And I was telling you right before we started recording, I found your podcast that you did with Lee Smith, Mission Statement. And I don't want to be too redundant because I felt like you told your story super, super well on that. But for a listener who doesn't know, just like briefly who you are and what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely shout out to the mission statement. You guys should check that one out after you give this one a thorough listen. Then move on to the mission statement podcast, another dope one by a legendary skateboarder who kind of, that segues, cruises, if you will, me into my story. It's a skateboard pun slash joke. But yeah, so I, grew up skateboarding in New York City, which was a lot of fun. And that just led me to doing some photography, which, as well as video. And, like the help of my parents, first, I guess, taking me skating and all that kind of stuff as a child, then getting me into photography, that kind of stuff. Like some classes at ICP, that's International Center of Photography. It's a really nice spot in Midtown Manhattan. And, met some friends there. And just also through skating, and was just documenting, all of my friends and the cool, stuff we would see on a day-to-day basis, cruising through the streets of New York. And, that eventually led to landing an internship at Vice, because that was always, a really cool company that I, looked up to and read and, watched all of their videos. So then I landed this, awesome internship, which led to meeting a lot of cool people and still doing some of the photography, which then led to video. One of the founders named Sarush was like talking to me about doing more video because that was the future, he was telling me, or even the present, I guess it had already been, taken on.
What
And they were
year was
doing
that Vice
incredible
was like?
videos. I'm not sure exactly when they started doing videos, but like at least like 25 years ago, I want to say, so was it like 96? I don't know, the mid 90s, but this was probably 12 years ago that I'm talking about.
Yeah. That they
So
were starting to pay like heavier attention to video.
yeah, well, they had already kind of done a bunch of videos that had really put them on the map, and but it was still kind of fresh.
Because they
And
always did a good job of like balancing real culture. Like it wasn't any one specific lane. Like they just did a good job of covering lifestyle and culture and I don't know, just
yeah,
like
I think
real looks on things.
yeah, just having like interesting people pitching these ideas, and being a little more relaxed in the projects they take on,
Mm-hmm.
and not trying to like appeal to a specific audience, just kind of like doing their thing. I guess it's called like guerrilla media, not that they are exactly that, but just like getting down and dirty,
Yeah, it kind
and
of just felt like
just
the first outlet, at least from I think we're pretty similar age, but for me it always felt like the first outlet that covered stories that were outside of just like traditional media, but it was done really well.
totally. And not to
So anyway,
mention just like how gnarly a lot of the you know original pieces.
yeah, that's true. They were very like uncensored out the rip. Like they would cover anything.
Totally.
So you found that like while you were skating and while you were coming up in New
Yeah, I
York.
was looking up to all of that content a ton. And then, one of the founders, because I was interning, named Sarush, suggested, I try some video things. Same with Shane suggested as well, trying video things. He's another one of the founders. So just, meeting some of these people that I looked up to and was like, enthralled by his work was really cool and inspiring, and then led to just continuing to learn video and being taken under the wing of like more great people, and eventually that through just shooting a ton, which I still do, um behind the camera, led to doing some stuff in front of the camera. And actually, Spike Jones was working there as well. He still does, certain things. And he was running a department that I got involved in as well, because he kind of like saw me skating some equipment around, and he thought that was cool that I was working there, and then I was in the skate scene. So
Dude,
shout out to Spike Jones for sure.
so you
Not to
just like
name
you
drop or
legit got to
anything.
like no, 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 no. That's a
Yeah,
name
I was
drop.
working
That's
with him.
crazy.
Yeah, and a bunch of really cool people. This guy Jordan, who was like his kind of liaison and main producer, and a bunch of other cool people.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I just did a bunch of that kind of stuff, and just continued filming, and I would say, just always kind of having like um as best as I can, like a craft, like a technical job,
Yeah.
that's I feel valuable, like just to be able to film for them, because there's
Yeah.
always something to film in this world,
So
luckily.
that was like
So
really your piece that you felt like that was the value that you always knew you could bring. You're like, if I
yeah, and I
master
still do.
filming, yeah.
I mean, I'm not like an
Damn.
incredible filmer by any means. Like I'm not like a serious DP,
Yeah.
like with like lighting and all sorts of things, but I have been doing it for a while, and I can make it look, like good
Did that
enough, good
come
enough. And I feel like, I could try to be like run and gun, with it, and
which I
shoot in
feel
the
like comes from
style.
skating, right? Like I feel like if you learn how to
Totally.
shoot skate videos, that's just like this inherent skill that comes with it.
Yeah, for sure. But knock
Cuz
on
in
wood, because, it's hard to always, get every shot.
Yeah, well that was something that was really interesting to me about you was I grew up skating, and I don't think I even got to the level, like, from what I saw, like, you're pretty decent. Like, you can skate. But for you, did
Yeah, I
you have
don't
a
skate too much
moment?
anymore. I'm pretty old now, but what were you saying?
Well, like, did you have a moment where you're like, damn, like, were you chasing going pro? Like, I feel like finding photography, videography, and skateboarding all at that same time, growing up in New York, like, did you have a moment where you're like, I'm going to specifically chase this and I probably won't, like, I'm probably not good enough to go pro? Or were you chasing going pro? Or like, was it kind of just like these moments where you're like, yo, literally Vice is taking interest in me, Spike Jones, like all of these people, like I have to just focus on this because it's where the opportunity is? Or was it kind of just like where your passion was taking you anyway?
Well, that's a good question, but basically it was just when I was young, I really wanted to be a pro skater and was trying my best with that. But then I started just getting older and like not like fully progressing with the skating to that level.
Yeah.
So, I began school. Sorry, I kind of skipped a whole chapter. Like I was doing school. Well, I told you I did some photo classes, like
Yep.
during the skating. And then I kind of mellowed out on skating a little and took more interest in trying to work and finish school and all that kind of stuff. So, that kind of like segued me into doing um, more video
Got
and
it.
still some skating, but also I started surfing kind of
Oh,
like
you found
more for
surfing.
fun. Yeah, like then I eventually started surfing after skating. So just having like a new passion, you know. But I was probably already knew I wasn't going to go pro before I was even surfing a ton. Who knows? But
Okay. So
not
it
saying
kind of
it's
like
cool. There's a
naturally
direct
just,
tie. But yeah, and then meanwhile, I always loved doing video stuff. And now I kind of just do it all, but not quite as much skateboarding. But sorry, I forget exactly what your question is. I think I just segued again. Oh yeah, if I wanted to be pro and then I
yeah, like just like
instead
what
kind of
that
ended up
looked
in this
like.
other kind of field that's, parallel to it.
Right,
But
because you have these skills, you're growing up, you can do both. So did you have a moment of
yeah,
like,
I
I
see what you
need to
mean. But
specifically
skating is
chase
just
this one?
I feel like just skating's like very tricky and my body like couldn't necessarily adapt to like that sort of lifestyle like when I got older.
Yeah.
So I guess, for practical purposes, and, it's just hard to make money skateboarding. There's
Yeah.
only, a few people that can, but
Yeah.
within like video, it's like kind of easier to get full-time jobs, like,
So it just kind of made sense. Like you just naturally, like you were starting to feel it in your body. You started to put together the pieces that video had more opportunity, and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna follow that lane.
for sure. And same with like school, and like, yeah, that kind of stuff.
And then
It's
did
kind of like,
you
yeah. And just like slight injuries, in skateboarding.
that's like what stopped me too. I broke by the time I was like 18, I had
Goddamn.
broken so many bones that I was just like, dude, I have to stop. Like I'm not gonna be good enough and I'm too
Yeah.
broken to do
Knock on
anything
wood.
else. Yeah. Did you,
But
because you
yeah,
grew up in New York, right?
yes.
So were you surfing like out in Long Island, or where did you first find surfing?
Um, my mom took me to Rockaway, which was cool. And so then I would just surf there a lot. And I first did surfed a couple of times in Virginia, visiting family in like North Carolina and Rockaway Beach. You know the Ramones song, Rock, Rock, Rockaway Beach. You
No,
bang
could you
with
keep
that
singing
song?
it?
No, you're gonna have to license that thing. That's gonna cost you. I don't know how much it is for a Ramones song.
I'll have
We
to
can
look
only
into
do
it.
what, like afford like 10 seconds of that or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with Rockaway Beach, but it's in Queens, New York.
To
Um,
be honest, I'm not, but I knew
there's a
that there
beach
was
in New
little
York.
bits of like where you could surf in New York.
Yeah, and then Long Island's good for sure. I would go there a little bit, and I still do, and New Jersey, and yeah. So I
Cause then
kind of started surfing, getting into all that there, and that's how that happened. Sorry, I think that was your
nice.
question. Where do I surf?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
did I
And
surf?
then The other thing that I was interested in was, again, on that other interview you did, something that I found crazy is so many people will do the thing where they move to LA or move to California in the beginning of their creative journey. And it sounded like you did that, but it also sounded like you kind of had a moment where you were honestly just like, yeah, this isn't it. Like, I'm better off in New York. And you only spent a little bit of time here, right?
Yeah, well, it was just kind of hard to make it in LA, like as a young person. That was also during like the school stuff. Before I got the internship at Vice, I was living in LA and like went to school for a semester, and then I was just, like away from everyone I knew and just like this young person trying to get a job, and I couldn't. So
Damn.
I just like kind of just gave up on LA and couldn't really make it out there. Also, I wasn't surfing at the time, so my appreciation for nature wasn't like the same. And I missed New
That
York,
was,
so
yeah,
I
that was my
came back.
question was I was like,
But
dude, if you
now
were
I like love the
surfing,
West Coast, and but I live in New York, and I love to travel. So if anything, my ideal situation would just be to be like stationed in New York, but like get to travel some and that kind of stuff. Or
yeah.
eventually maybe move back to California like full circle, after not figuring it out at 18. But it's just like rough too to like be away from family and that kind of stuff on the other side of the damn map. It's crazy how like New York and California are like these two hubs, right? But they're like on the complete other end of the map.
Yeah, for sure. And the
But I
fact
guess
that,
it's
like,
not
if
that bad of a plane ride. It's like, I don't know, 5 hours or so.
no, it's not too bad, but that does make sense too, especially if you're super close with your family. So
But yeah,
then,
then I moved back to New York, and that's kind of like how, just from knowing people growing up, I like landed the internship kind of situation, and like it all worked out. Sometimes it's easier, I guess, like on your like home
yeah,
area.
I thought
And New
that was
York
a
in
really
general is an
cool
easier kind
piece.
of maybe place sometimes. California, I don't know, can be kind of tricky with very competitive, but so is New York. But at least in New York, you can like get places easy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I thought that was interesting because I think that both are very hard. Like every time I'm in New York, I'm like, dude, this is too much. I'm overwhelmed. Like I don't know what to do. Like it's just not my element. But I never spent time there. Like it never was the spot that I knew. But I just thought it was cool that you didn't force it in LA. Like you tried it, but then you
Yeah,
didn't
I
force
did
it and
like
you went
almost a
back.
year.
Yeah. I think that's really cool. Like I think that that's a side of a story where it was like, oh, cool. Like you legitimately tried this, you spent some time, then you went
Yeah,
back to New York. And that's where it seems like a lot of your success started, like when the Vice moment happened.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, staying in California, I don't know if I could have like landed that kind of thing, but who knows? There is a lot of opportunity in California as well, but it was just kind of harder for me to tap into that,
Yeah.
especially at a young age. In general, I feel like, when you're like 18, you
Yeah.
think that you're old enough to do things, and you are, but if you look young and like, I don't know, maybe you're like also a little bit immature, it depends. But like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to get like hired to do like stuff.
Did you run into that? Did
It
people just
doesn't
like look
really
at you and
suck.
they're like,
Like you
yo,
could
this
get
kid
like a
is,
really like tricky job, not tricky, sorry, that's like not the term, like just like a very like low paid, like I've like handed out flyers before when I was young, and like what else? Like not to hate on these jobs, they're like legitimate jobs, but just like having to try to like get people to go to like parties and stuff, like a
oh,
promoting
you
little
were party
thing, like
promoter guy?
all sorts of things. What else? Like I've
Dude,
done trade shows, like a
me
trade show
too.
kind of person. You've been involved in some trade shows.
I did
So
trade.
yeah,
I
you
was
could
the,
kind of get those, but I couldn't find that market in California, is like tricky. I don't know. You gotta like know people when you're young for these kind of gigs. So
yeah.
New York and skating helped a lot with all that. And like California, I met some cool skaters and did some stuff, but it was
It
kind of
just,
tricky.
yeah, yeah. So then, okay, you go back to New York, you get the internship at Vice. And did you like as you were doing that internship, did you know it was worth it? Were you like, it doesn't matter what I have to do. This is insane. I'm at Vice. I will do anything. Or did you have moments where you're like, I don't know?
I was always like super hyped on the opportunity and tried to seize the moment as much as I could
Yeah.
and ride it out and enjoy the job and do as much as I can,
And was
I
that
would say.
like,
But it's
did
definitely along the
you,
journey, like hard to like, progress and continue to like hang on there, in like the world, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like so rapidly changing, so you have to like know how to adapt.
because you were an intern there for a while, right? You like were just an intern. What was it like? I mean, you've probably been there for 10 years now.
Yeah, well then I was doing some freelance work and then I finally like found my place, like as a full-time shooter and like all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
it's I just feel very like privileged to be able to like continue, like excelling and doing things like because yeah, like over the years it's definitely like, you have to like work to maintain these kind of jobs in life.
Yeah. Well, then, because when was your like first break, or how would it be break? Like, when was the first time that you had a video of yours featured? Like, where did that start?
Well, that was another thing that was helpful is like to not like push things, like it all kind of naturally happened through my determination and doing a technical job for them and taking it very seriously and being dedicated to it, like led to being able to do some stuff in front of the camera, like I never tried to like push that super hard,
Yeah.
so it's kind of cool that it just kind of like fell into place, um, and I think made it more like natural. And then at times, I like hosted a bunch of things in front of the camera, and then like there was some success, and then there was like a major like kind of like time period where I was like still just like figuring out what to do, and like what would be received, well,
Yep.
and like what would push the envelope, and like there was definitely like stagnant moments of like figuring that out, and then like I was back to mainly like shooting, and then a producer showed up named Alistair, and he's super cool, and he developed the One Star Review series with me, and then that
Oh,
kind of just randomly took off, which is cool, and how you even found me,
yeah.
as you mentioned before we went on air. But so yeah, just a process of just being dedicated to doing my technical job and getting to do some super cool things along the journey and things that like
Yeah.
eventually happen to resonate with the public because they like push the envelope a bit.
During
So
that,
that's
were
what I would say.
you, no, that's
So definitely
incredible.
a battle, without a doubt, but certain successes due to, I think like trying to stay humble and determined and resilient and down
So
to
you never like cared like when you would stay filming, like you guys would try stuff with you in front of the camera, because I think you started like with can you skate it before that,
yeah,
right?
that was like one of the earlier things I did for sure, and like a bunch of other stuff, random things.
Yeah, so then like you would do them and then you would go back and you just keep your head down, film whatever, and you just keep going with that. And
For sure, I
then
think it's important to like have like a solid, foundation of work you do,
mhm.
and like not be afraid to get your hands dirty and like, do some actual like labor and
Yeah,
not
that's
just try to
cool.
like look for some sort of like break.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So wait, question
So I do
then.
all that. I'm down for that.
So now when you're doing 1-star reviews and you have like your whole team and you're on camera, is it just like so sick where you're like, I don't have to film. I just get to host this right
Yeah, it's
now.
definitely fun to host things because it's like kind of easier in a way. Because filming is a lot of work,
Dude, I feel
It's
like
like
it.
a shit ton of work. You got to get so many shots and like you don't want to miss anything, not to mention the stuff's like heavy, and like there's so much
Yeah.
gear. It depends. Like if you're setting up a crazy interview, like that takes forever, like to like light it, if it's like too dark somewhere, like it's like because you want to make it, look nice and like uh tell the story accurately as well. Like so, because a
Well,
lot of time
yeah.
we don't
And
do like studio work. So um when
I
you're
was
in,
gonna say,
on a
like,
location, you got all the gear and it's like a lot of moving pieces.
yeah, I was gonna say so many of the shots that you guys do, it's not like you have the luxury of being in a studio. Like you're just out and in these
For sure.
ridiculous places. How many
Yeah, so
people
it's a
like
lot, but it's like it makes it super fun and it gives it like a raw, authentic feel as well. Luckily, there's like some leeway, like not everything has to be perfect, but it's a hell of a lot of work. So being in front of the camera, you could say it's a lot of work and it's emotionally draining, but it's like still you kind of just stand there or you walk around or do something, right? Like you're not like, holy shit, like where's this backpack and equipment? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're kind of just like
yeah,
chilling for the
yeah.
most part.
How many people on average? I guess it would depend, like
So it's always
whatever you're
nice for sure.
filming. But like, how many people on average are filming for a specific segment? Like for, I guess, like 1-star reviews. Like, how many people are behind cameras filming that?
We keep a pretty like light crew because of the nature of the show. It's like super like in and out, like, you know, documentary style
Yeah.
thing. It's not like we set up like major like, shots or anything. We're just kind of like down and dirty and we don't want to like have a big scene around us, It's just kind of more like intimate, like, we're experiencing the service and we're documenting it as well as possible, but they don't make it like a whole, thing
Yeah, I was gonna
because
say
it's
like there's no
in,
way
a
you
business.
could.
A lot of the time, the business is like actually like functioning at the time, they don't like close it down. So we don't want to like get kicked out or anything.
Yeah.
So we're pretty low key, but we use extremely talented shooters, and my producer guy, Alistair, I was telling you about, who came up with the concept and then I helped develop a bit and
Yeah.
be in it and stuff. But it's like all his, you know, brainchild, and he oversees all the post production with like extremely talented editors. So, it's not like a huge production by any means, but it's pretty tight knit and, you know, like talented is what I
I
would
was
say.
curious of that because I feel like you
But only a
own the
few people
role.
on set, just me and like a couple, like if we're lucky, we got like two cameramen for the most part, if we could fit him in there, and um producer.
Wow. So it's,
Maybe a
yeah, like it's
sound guy.
less
I don't know. I don't
than,
think, no, we've never had a sound guy actually. I don't think that would
so
also make
you're,
never a sound guy.
yeah, like
Although
you're
we
probably like
like
less than
sound
5
people
every time.
on certain things, but for that one, it's like you're kind of just in and out, and you make the camera guy do the audio.
So
You got
it's
to
like,
do it
it's like
all.
less than 5, huh?
Yeah.
I was so curious if it was your idea all in or you're talking about
Uh,
Alistair
there's a
because,
producer involved. Yeah, it's like his idea, but I help with like certain stuff. Like I helped come up with like some of the style and that kind of stuff, but he also like definitely helped with a lot of the style too. So it's like a collab without a doubt.
Alistair
And then our
X
animators
Taji.
help with like a lot of the look and all the feel, and
Oh, it's incredible. But I was
they
gonna
kick
say, like,
ass and the
you
transitions.
it's unreal because the thing that stands out to me is you own the role of that host so well.
Thank you.
And I feel like to some degree, I think a lot of people understand it and get the show, but I really admire it because I think you do a really good job of being perfectly awkward. And I don't know if
Wow,
that's
that's funny. Thank you.
well, I think about that and I feel like there's two things happening during those where you have to stay so dialed. Well, at the same time, I don't feel like you're trying to slander these companies or to try to make them look intentionally bad. If anything, I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like you're giving
Yeah,
genuine chances to everyone
for
to
sure.
show.
Yeah, no, it's definitely supposed to be a feel good show where we're not trying to screw anyone over. Obviously, because it's
Right.
also a documentary, and it's like not like some crazy like shame thing.
Yeah. Like I
Although
thought
those
that
are
was
good. Have you seen those things on the news where they like, or whatever, like the TMZ, where they just do all sorts of like wild things?
like not like kind of like little bits like little clickbaity like odds and ends things, but I don't know, like I loved the fact that like with that you own that role so well, and like you'll lean into whatever people review poorly, but you really do give it a genuine chance. And I was also
Oh,
wondering
you
with
got
that,
it.
like,
Not to say that they're always, yeah, like amazing establishments. Like some of them have even ended up with like a 1 star from me. Um,
yeah,
Not a lot of them, luckily,
I was
but you
gonna
never
say
know.
I really thought the levels of when you went to the psychic woman with your
Oh, that's
headshots,
cool. You watched that one. That's funny. That's one of our like more underground recent ones.
dude, the fact that you, you channeled the energy of
Oh
Bruce
my God.
Lee and then
Yeah,
had
that
her
was an
help
idea of
you.
Alistair's for the most part, for sure. The Bruce Lee thing is
It's art.
legit. We love Bruce Lee.
That was so good, and you gave her 4 stars. She helped you through the
Yeah, well, she was
entire
very nice.
portfolio.
So, yeah, she didn't seem like she was trying to screw me over, but who knows?
No, I think that that was some very genuine psychic advice right there. What
Hell
was
yeah.
your, I don't even know. I can't even think of seeing you leave an actual 1 star review. I thought you did a great job learning how to drive manual. They did a great job
Yeah, that one, they were
taking
they were
you
nice
through
over
there.
there.
I thought you got a really nice tattoo. Your nails
Yeah,
looked great. I don't know if I've
they've
seen
all
you.
been pretty good. There's been, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna like single out any ones, but there's been like
Yeah.
a couple that have gotten like lower ratings. But for the most part, some of these businesses are, I guess, misunderstood a bit,
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah. I know. I
Who
just, I
knows
think
for
that's,
sure, but from my experiences.
yeah, I thought that was really cool. And that's cool to hear about Alistair as well, because that
Yeah, he's
just
mad cool. Shout out to Al.
absolutely, that's really, really cool. Like hearing about these pieces of it, I'm like, wow, this all makes more sense. I love this.
Yeah, I think it's hard sometimes to do something on your own. Um, you know, like in terms
Oh,
of like coming up with an idea and executing it start to finish. Um, because you can kind of get like wrapped up in your own head, and then you can end up with like creative blocks.
dude, yes. Or just
For
having
sure, it's good to
anybody
be
to
able to
bounce things off
collaborate.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes it more fun. Even doing anything like running an errand or something. I don't know if you guys both have to go to the DMV or something. I don't know. Or like, it depends, but it
Yeah.
can make things a little easier.
No, I completely agree. And it's cool to hear, like, because I don't know, I think that that's another thing is you see so much content, especially on YouTube, and you almost like take for granted what it actually takes to make it.
It
So
depends. I mean, there's a lot of people now that are able to make their content on their own, which is cool for sure. But it's just like kind of a different type of product, right?
yeah. Yeah, no, totally. So the other question that I had was I feel like you've really dialed your lane of like, I mean, you're obviously continuing to grow, but you had, I feel like at this point we could say 1 star reviews like really did hit. And that is like a thing that is doing well. And I would imagine you'll continue to do.
Certainly. I mean, yeah, I feel very fortunate to have done this series that we've been able to like sustain and keep doing, which is always great. And yeah, we have some that we've shot a little while ago that, are hopefully going to be released, in the new year. Um, so just, yeah, working on like fine tuning all of that. And certainly would love to do more. And I think, hopefully we will be. Just things are a little slow now, with the world, as you probably are affected by as well. You're like podcasting out of your bedroom, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The whole work from
Yeah.
home dealio.
I've got this chair now with the
But
head
we've been,
support
well,
for
good for
it.
you. I mean, but that you should have quarantine, no quarantine. Everyone deserves something like that.
I mean, it
I got to
took a
get one. Damn.
quarantine to get
This
there, but
pillow's doing a
yeah.
number on me. I should have been sitting in some sort of throne like you are.
I should have told
Um,
you, man. I should have sent you a
this is a
text before we
throne podcast.
started.
I don't
I
really
should have
have
said
one though, but I got to
something.
get one eventually. If any chair company out there wants to sponsor me, holler at me. I don't think
Dude,
there's enough chair
please.
sponsorship going on. Not that I bet there is. I bet all these DJs or whoever the hell is doing something in their room with a nice chair, chances are they might have worked out a deal, but
The race
I'm
car
not sure.
chairs, you know that they're sponsoring people. Those chairs that go fast for the real gamers.
Oh yeah, those ones that look like they're from a car. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. I
a
want to
chair
get you a
sponsor.
fast chair sponsor, one of those race car chair sponsors.
I'm down. Hook it up, fast chairs. You know where to find me. Tag Cam on Instagram. Is this
Please,
also the
fast
part of the
chair.
interview we can shout out our handles and stuff,
Yeah,
our
why not?
credentials?
There he is,
But yeah, I mentioned
Dashcam.
that. That's me on the gram.
Another thing that I
If
wanted
I
to
get enough
ask you,
followers, I could maybe get that free chair. So you guys could
that's
either
my
follow me, or if you know someone at a chair company, you could, send them my way.
I am
But
so
sorry, what were you
serious
gonna
about
ask
this
me?
now. Please,
Let's chair it
please,
up.
some listener, please know somebody.
Yeah,
Can
let's
we get
chair
this
it
man a
up.
chair? I was gonna ask you. It's amazing that 1 star reviews is popping, and I'm sure that it's continued to open up new doors. But I feel like there is an element to everything that you're doing. Like you've gotten really big into surfing. You still know skate culture super, super well. You're saying you like travel. I would imagine that in a lot of ways, like this is just the beginning for you. And the fact that Vice covers literally everything, like, are you still continuously pushing to do new shows, or is that where your head is at? Like, what are you trying to do next?
Certainly. We're working on a new series too called Better Man that we released a few episodes of. So that's like on the pipeline, hopefully, and developing, more shows and definitely like trying to evolve and do bigger, crazier things one day. But who knows, what the future holds. It's such an unpredictable time we live in, either way, with media and just like everything, the world.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm hoping to do more. And yes, like travel outside of that series and, like who knows?
Yeah.
I would love to continue developing new things because who wouldn't want that, right?
I guess that's a pretty
It's just
valid.
tricky though,
Yeah.
to like, maintain success in this crazy world we live in. But either way, you can still kind of do your own damn thing.
Yeah,
as
like
much as you can.
do you think like perfect world for you, do you stay more on the like in front of the camera side of things, pushing shows like that, or do you then also chase a role where you're doing other stuff behind a camera?
I like doing both still for sure, you know, but if there's a way to like kind of like combine them, you know, or like one day have some sort of crazy thing where I film and am in it, you know, would be rad.
So you're trying to tell me
But
you
for
want to be
now,
a
I'm down
vlogger?
to, yeah, maybe I can figure that out. Have you done anything like that or not yet?
No, I haven't. I
In a
haven't
way, you're
vlogged.
vlogging right now, though, because you've like set up the cameras and the recording and like you are kind of doing it all right now.
My God, I'm a
But yeah, I think
vlogger.
evolving would be cool. But you know, I love doing both things for sure.
Yeah.
But maybe I can evolve it into a hybrid one day.
No, that's awesome. I mean, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to get into. Did I
We got another
miss any?
airplane. My airplane is here. I don't know if you guys heard that. I don't know if you
What?
could hear it in this thing. It's probably
No,
not.
no, it's canceled. The noise has been canceled. I can't hear a thing.
Nice. These are these great AirPod noise cancelers. If you just jam it in
Yeah.
your ear far enough, you won't hear a damn thing out there.
You don't even have to gaff tape them. You just poke them on in there
I
and
know it's magic. You could probably even
yeah,
skateboard with these things, right? I know some kids are doing it.
that
The
stresses me
smoother
out.
kids, the
I see
smooth
that and that's
ones,
sketchy.
the smooth style.
The old smooth ones. Where are you surfing out there?
A bunch of fun spots in San Diego. Um, feel very blessed to be here. Um, yeah, bunch of cool spots. Have you been
I'm
to
like
San
mad.
Diego? You lived here.
Well, yeah, I lived there,
Have you
but when I
surfed at
was
Black's
there,
Beach?
I know Black's Beach. I've gone
You've
there, but
heard
I like
about it? Nice.
when
Can
I
you
was
go nude
there,
there or no? It's a nude beach.
I didn't have the courage. I was
Damn.
too shy. I
Also,
was
it
too
might have been cold.
nervous.
San Diego gets a little chilly sometimes. You don't want to have a chilly willy, right?
That's
Nobody
what they
wants
say.
that.
There's signs posted and
Screw
they
that.
say Black's
Do
Beach
they
is a
say that?
nude beach, but you don't want a
Oh yeah.
chilly willy, so don't be doing
Nice.
that during the winter.
That's so that must be where I subliminally got that from those
I
signs.
think so, yeah.
The
I can remember
subliminal
those
chilly
signs.
willy mention. But yeah, just a bunch of spots like that. Surf is very good at. And then I've
Yeah.
traveled a lot too. I was in Puerto Rico, um, quite a bit surfing
Is that now like if
places
you
like that.
travel, like you'll go somewhere to surf?
Yeah, if I can, for sure. Like any sort of vacation, I like to surround it around surfing for sure.
Dude,
Unless I
that
gotta
was
like figure
another
out some other family sort of situation, but sometimes I could even combine the two if I'm lucky.
yeah. Yeah. There was another I remember you did another Vice piece that you did was when you went ice surfing.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was a good one that I got chose to film that as well. There was like a piece that really blew up on those guys. It has, I don't know, like
Oh.
millions of views that I filmed. It's like we had a
Oh.
producer, like, I'm not going to take credit for the story, but I was like the camera person, and that one got like millions. And then I did a little session with the guys as like a behind the scenes little video thing, which was cool. So that was a
Damn.
lot of fun to combine the surfing and the filming. And like, I was, down to throw on a wetsuit and get into the cold water with the guys. So that, kind of fell right into place. And like, what an opportunity, to travel to, these crazy lakes that somehow get these waves. They have their own, currents and like actual like swell, which isn't common for a lake, but they're so big and there's so much wind up there that they somehow have a wave on it sometimes. And those guys are awesome because they have beards made of ice.
That's the
So let me plug that one. Go watch the Ice Beards, the 2 videos we made on the Vice YouTube of the Ice
yeah.
Beard winter surfing lake extravaganza.
That was nuts. And it also kind of feels like
Thank
you're
you.
down to try most all things. Like that seems
Oh,
like a
for
theme
sure.
in yeah. Where did
Thanks,
that come
man. I
from?
appreciate it. I mean, I don't know. I guess just like the skater mentality kind of thing, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it
Like
makes sense.
being open-minded to you know how when you're like skating around or when you're walking around, you can like skate anything, you look at the world differently and
Yeah.
architecture differently. Maybe
Yes.
that's my approach to filming things
That's kind of cool, actually.
and
Damn.
trying new things in
You like
life. I mean,
really carried that with you.
stemming beyond filming things. Yeah, I never thought of it, but now you help me kind of articulate that answer. Thank you.
Together, we have crafted this
We've done
answer.
it. We've done it again, my friend.
My guy, here we are. Well, damn, I feel like that's a good place to leave this one.
For sure. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for doing it. I know that we were total
Oh,
strangers,
anytime.
so
Oh, for
thank you
sure. It's
for,
been real. Nice chilling with you, man. Have a good
yeah,
rest of your evening and everyone stay safe out there, right?
yes, absolutely. All right, my dude. Well, thank you again so much.